Hey everyone, Doji here from Doji Trading, and in today's video I will do a trade review of the LCID trade I took yesterday, and also talk about a possible trade on MU, and go over a little bit about that and my thoughts on it. But first, for Doji Chat, I want to talk a little bit about paper trading, because you have both sides, where one side says paper trading isn't worth it, it's not the same thing, you don't get the true experience, the feelings, emotions and all that. But then you have the other side that say no, you definitely should start with paper trading, because that will prepare you. If you can't have winning trades, paper trading, you really shouldn't move on to real cash. Now, I guess I would say I'm somewhere in the middle, because what I think is that the paper trading, yes, you should start. So you could say I'm on that one side, but you should start it, but for the reasons of, for one, if you're not familiar with your platform, where a lot of new traders are not, that will help you execute. So if you don't even know how to quickly execute on your platform, why would you go right away and use cash? I mean, that doesn't make sense. So I say paper trade, get familiar. If you're going to use hotkeys, whatever, your layout, get comfortable with that. Then I still think once you are, narrowing down your strategy, because listen, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't know what you're going to be looking for, setups, that kind of thing, again, why would you go to cash? You should be paper trading to figure out, okay, what strategy am I going to use, right? And then you should practice a little bit on paper trading and maybe even set a goal. So, when I used to paper trade, I would, one, put it to a reasonable dollar amount, like, I don't know, 5,000, 1,000, whatever. Make it feel more real, right? Then say, okay, I need to be consistently green for a week, and then I'll move to cash, small size. I think as soon as possible, once you narrow down your setup, you have the execution, yes, I do think as soon as possible, if you can get on real cash, use small size, that is the way to go. Because, in the simulated paper trading, as far as when I've done it, the fills that you get often are not like it is in live trading. So you'll get better fills, and a lot of times, especially in TradeStation, I see that sometimes the fill is so crazy, like I'll be up 15% or something, like as soon as I get in the trade, and that's not realistic. So yeah, so I do think you should start there, just to kind of get on your way, get familiarize yourself with the platform and all that, and your strategy, and then move on to the cash. So do I think it's important? I do. I don't think a new trader that knows nothing, again, about their platform or their strategy, to just go to cash, it doesn't make sense. Then you're gambling. You're just like, okay, let me just go in and hope for the best. So no. So that's my thoughts on that. Now let's move on to the LCID trade. So I looked at this the previous night, and first thing I saw was that, and we're over here, so this was the 11th yesterday, because today's the 12th. This was the 11th. So I saw on the night before, which is the 10th, that it was an inside day, right? So it closed inside the previous day, and I have this indicator that makes it yellow, inside day. So interested, right? Yeah, that's what I do too. Nightly, I'm looking at all the inside days, and then from those, I will pick the best one that has the best setup, on a higher time frame. So first things first, I mark that. I mark the top and the bottom for the inside day, and I always mark that as purple. If you see that's for inside days. Then I move to my 4 hour, and let me move all these lines. So I moved to the 4 hour, and I saw that, you can see here, so see the top there, you see this point, this resistance, then you move over here, and you can see over here. So there's this multiple top, right? So, and at that time, I mean, let's see. Yeah. So you can see that resistance there. Okay, so that's good. And then let's go into the day. And I'll put my indicators back on. And just so you know, so the white line is VWAP, the blue line is the 20 EMA, and the yellow is 9 EMA. And those are the indicators I use. Now, also in case you're wondering, if you see white bars, those are outside bars, and the yellow, like I said, is inside bars. Because on any time frame, you can have those. If you want to know more about outside, inside, you can, go on Google. Or go on YouTube and look up the strat. It's all about the strat, and I don't really follow all of the strat. There's just certain things from it that I look at, but that can tell you about that. So you can see, and we're on the 1 minute, so I can show you as it goes, that I entered. So starting out at open, I'm just watching, right? I'm watching the price action and, looking for a good entry. That is the number one thing you should be focusing on, is the entry. Because too many times, that's where you get the chasing and not getting a low enough entry. So you really want to think about and have it make sense. So for me, I want an entry where my risk, my stop, it makes sense, that I can easily define it. I can easily look at my entry and go, okay, yes, my stop's going to be right here. So, let's say I see this and I enter right there. Okay, I guess my stop could be VWAP right here. But still, sometimes off open, you just want to see, I would rather it move up and then come back, touch, and then go from there. So I watch it, especially off open. I like to watch. So I was watching it here. I did notice and I liked. So this red line is pre-market low. Okay. So you can see where it, you see that wick, so it rejected off there. And then it came back down close to the same area and again, moved up. So that right away, I liked that. I noticed that. So I was watching for an entry here. And where I finally entered was right, where was it? It was right here when it pulled back and it touched. Yeah, right here. So I entered here, and if you can see, it touched VWAP. So I entered here. I liked how it came up here. It did some consolidation, and I entered here. Now, just so you know, some people watch these like, okay, so like this is the inside bar. Some will watch that and enter on the break. Now, I'm on the 1 minute, and off open, I am watching the 1 minute. I don't really like to play the 1 minute inside bars. You can. I'm just, it's interesting that it's there, but and I'll look at it, but I'm not going to base my entry off of 1 minute. If I was going to base an entry off an inside bar, it would be at least like the 5 minute. Just want to say that. But I like this consolidation. I like this. It's respecting it. It's not, breaking the 20. So when it came back here, I took my entry here. And my stop was going to be right here. So let me see, am I lining that up right? Yeah, that's what I made my stop. And I'll put a line there so you can see right there. And I'm going to make that a different color. Let's just make it white. Okay. And let me explain that. So I never like to do it right at like VWAP or right at the 20 EMA and say that's my stop. Okay, I like to give a little bit of room. So that's why the entry is important to me, because I entered here. I don't want to have a big stop. I mean, what's the point of that? That risk is high. So, but I do like to, and see, I see these little right here. And I like to look at that. So, you know, this resistance point up here. So I'm always looking for that. And in line with like the 20 EMA. I really do like using the 20 EMA a lot of times as a stopping point if it breaks that. You'll notice, especially when trading like large caps, I mean, even with small caps, you know, the 20 EMA, I 20 and 9, I would always use with small caps too. Just there's a lot of respect there. And someone one time said that those indicators, those EMAs, they're like magnets. And I thought that was interesting, that price, like, you know, like a magnet likes to move to those. So to me, if it breaks that, then, you know, I'm out. So, and here's the thing. It's a judgment call, and that's what's hard, because I know a lot of new traders will ask, okay, well, is it the candle closing, or is it just if it wicks down? So for me, it would be the candle closing. But I have to say, it's not 100% of the time like that. I'm watching multiple things. So I'm watching SPY, I'm watching VIX, you know, watching those indexes to see what's going on there. And I'll do a separate video on that if you're not familiar and why I would be watching that. But so it's all dependent. And if I see, you know, SPY breaking down, the Q's breaking down, and this kind of, you know, all of a sudden dropping past the point, I more than likely will get out. So at that point, it's a judgment call. I do like, because especially on the 1 minute, what's hard with 1 minute, there's a lot of noise. There can be a lot of wicks. So that's really your judgment call. But I think where traders get in trouble is when they're like, okay, but then I'm going to even wait even more. And it's like, no. I mean, if it's continuing past this point, you know, I'd say, let's say 7 out of 10 times, if it just falls down here, I'm going to get out. But there are times that I am going to hold on depending on what else is going on. But again, before your entry, you should be looking at where can I get out. And that's why I like these kind of indicators. I'm not dependent on these indicators, but they do help me with things like this, of really defining like my stop. So entered here, and let's say I didn't see good consolidation or like anywhere that I felt, you know, would be a good entry. I do take the pre-market high break at times. So that's the blue line here. So that could have been another entry. And really, when I do that, I'm looking for, look at this strong candle. So I could have entered right here, but as you can see, you know, what's the better entry? What would you prefer being in at? You know, a lower one, because sometimes, and you'll see that at open, it'll break pre-market high and then break down like right away. So it's nice to have a lower entry, but I've had these entries work out as well. And then you can just put your stop, you know, below pre-market, because really the whole thought is that if it breaks pre-market high, you want it to continue to go on. If it starts to break down right away, I would rather get out and then wait for another entry. So I was here at the break. I did take profit just in case it did reverse. I wanted to take a little profit here because it was a nice move right there. And it broke through. Remember this. This was yesterday's high. Okay, remember it was the inside day. So it broke through that. Let me see. Okay. Let's see where the other line was. Okay, so it broke through that. And you can see, move sideways a bit. And it retraced and it went back to that price level again. And you'll see that a lot of times. Especially if you're playing an inside day. I noticed that. That it will go back and touch that price level again. So that's something to think about too. A lot of people don't play the first break. They wait. So you can do that as well. but you can see that it does not break through that, which that would have been an indication of, okay, you know, it's a little bit weak. So, you know, moved up there, sideways action again, and then it broke through that range, and I took profit here. Now, basically, I was almost all out. I just had a few contracts left, and for those, I said that if it breaks the 20 EMA with body, like I want to see not wick, I want to see a body break down. That's kind of my, you know, the runners, right? Just in case it keeps going. Because remember, I still have this up here that hadn't been broken. So, you know, you can see it touched here, went back up. I got out right here. My last contracts I got out here. And then you can see for the rest, it never really, never really broke through there. And also I really, okay, let me just show you here. Okay, so here, and that's what, 10:16, that's Central Time. I like to be done, you know, ideally by like 10:30 Central, which is 11:30 Eastern. And so I just feel like I've journaled my trades, and I do the best if I just trade the first 2 hours, and then maybe I'll come back at the end of the day, you know, around like 2 o'clock Eastern. But normally I don't. Especially if I'm up, okay, you know, pretty good on the day, like I'm not going to come back. Because that's the whole point. I don't want to be trading all day. So if I can just, you know, make my profit in the morning and be done, that's the goal. Because otherwise, when I was first starting trading, that's where I would lose. You know, I would lose everything I made in the morning. Because you're sitting there and you just want to trade. And that's where the over trading comes. So, you know, once I started really kind of focusing on not over trading, you know, that's where things changed for me. I don't like, you know, if I make 5 trades, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. Normally, maybe 3. Sometimes it's just 1. You know, if I have a trade planned for the next morning for open and it works out nicely, I don't need to trade anymore. Again, that is the goal here for me, is that I'm done in the morning and I have the rest of my day. So I don't want to sit here and trade all day. Sometimes if I don't have a lot going on, I may still kind of watch and kind of look at price action. You know, I do enjoy trading. There's that, but I just don't want any kind of temptation of, hey, there's a great play. You know, I want to get in. Because again, you know, I know some will say, well, if the setup is there, just go in. But as the day goes on, the probability just goes down. And there's so many other variables of what's going on in the market, and the volume dies down. You know, there's just so many things that could change and impact that trade. So it's not about always just the setup. So if you've already made a decent amount, or your goal for the day, you know, what's the point? I mean, yeah, for me, I did not get into trading to sit at the computer all day. I used to do that in my corporate world. So if I was going to do that, I mean, it just makes no sense. I want to go outside. I want to enjoy myself. So that's what I do. So let me show you one last thing when I was talking about entry. So this one on MU. So you can see here, you had that strong, you know, move up right here. And, you know, you could see, okay, you know, look at this, there's respect at that level of VWAP, right? And, you know, is a flag forming, right? It moves up here, touches that level again. So, you know, it's a good thing to watch, right? When I see a flag, the strongest flags to me, when okay, it moves down here, finds a level of support, and I love when it's VWAP, and then it moves back up, touches that, you know, that trend line, and then moves back down, consolidates, and then moves up. You're going to see bigger moves there. For this one, new traders, I see them a lot of times in Discord post things like this, and they say, okay, I got in right here, at the break, right? I got in. So, you could look at that and say, well, that's not horrible. Look, they got in and they made some profit. But look at that, how quickly it broke down. And I really do think that's because of the formation of this flag. It's not ideal. But I would say don't get in there. Not saying it's bad. A lot of breakout traders, that's what they do. They trade at the break, right? For me, I don't. I will get in here. I will look for consolidation, and, I would get in like here. So that way I can use this as my risk. If it breaks below VWAP, that's my risk, and I have a low entry. That way, if it breaks out and then breaks down, I got some profit there, and I'm kind of just sitting, a little more at ease, right? Whereas if you get in right here and then it breaks down right away, or look, you're expecting some big move, and then look at that candle, right? I can get out, and so it just makes more sense to me. Why not have a better entry? And you'll see this time and time again on these flags. On these bull flags, you will see this, especially around VWAP. So I would look for that, and so I just want to point that out. I'm going to be doing a video soon on the 5 do's and don'ts for new traders, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you find that helpful. But that's it for me now, and hope you guys have a great day.